Hello students, I am Dr. Kanak Vadwani. We shall now begin with the introductory session on International Human Resource Management. By the end of this session, the learners will be able to understand the peculiarities of an international business and develop the understanding on the evolution and the drivers of international business, along with an insight on the various stages of internationalization a business undergoes through. International business. Our first topic to be referred will be the basic overview on the international business and its process and the concept. International business is the process of focusing on the resources of the globe and the objectives of the organization on a global business opportunities and threats in order to produce, buy, sell or exchange of goods and services worldwide. When a domestic business expands its reach across boundaries of different nations, then it is exposed to an external environment wider than the previous one. When we analyze the environment on the basis of 4 dimensions, that is, first will be political, economic, social and technological, we will now see that these 4 dimensions cover extensively the external environment of an organization. Now when we talk from the point of view of international business, these dimensions gives us a wider base of information which affect the organizational operations. Let us now look at each one in detail. First, we will study the political environment. Every country in the world follows its own system of law, and a foreign company operating within its has to abide by these laws for as long as it continues to operate there. Political environment has a high dominance on the legal system as well as rules and regulations of doing business in a particular entity. The economic environment. Economic environment in a country establishes the degree of attractiveness. That means how far the overseas companies find the country lucrative to do business at. It is the economic environment which determines its monetary system, inflation rates, borrowing costs of companies, and absolute purchasing power related matters are also decided by the economic environment. Hence, the business will then decide how it is lucrative to do business in such area. The social environment includes factors such as lifestyle, attitudes and beliefs, social mobility, education, demographics, ethical religions, historical issues, cross-cultural communications and many more. These not only affect the buying behavior but also working pattern. Hence, the organization fails multifold differences in working pattern and consumptions across different nations. Now we will talk about the technological part of the external environment. That way we find firms' majority of the decision making revolves around the manufacturing and infrastructure. Both these aspects of businesses are crucial and guided by technological advancements within the countries. Hence, a high amount of influence is expected from these dimensions. As firm has no control over the external environment, their success depends upon how well they adapt it. A firm's ability to design and adjust its internal variables to take advantage of the opportunities offered by the external environment, its ability to control threats posed by the same environment determines the success of the business. Let us now explore the evolution of international business. World Bank and WTO, along with the efforts of individual countries due to the economic limitations of closed economies, led to the globalization of businesses. Globalization gave a flip to international business, particularly during 1990s. In fact, the term international business was not popular before 2 decades. The term international business has emerged from international marketing, which in turn has emerged from the term international trade. Now first we will look at the dimension where we begin from international trade to international marketing. Now initially, countries used to export their excessive produce to the outside countries. For instance, in the case of India, we used to export jute products, raw cotton, etc. But gradually, countries shifted from mere trading to creating the demand of their products in the overseas countries. That is, the trade got converted to marketing, which included efforts from countries towards arranging distribution channels, product development, attractive packaging and creating demand. Now when we talk about international marketing, it somehow grew to international business. The scope of international trade expanded to international marketing and further expanded to international business. The multinational companies which were producing the products in their home countries and marketing them in various foreign countries before 1980s started locating their plants and other manufacturing facilities in the host countries. For example, HLL produces in India and markets them in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc. Now, when we have grew from international marketing to international business, there were various other drivers of globalization which were responsible for emergence of international human resource, international business and international trade. Drivers, they have contribution from external environmental factors. The first and the foremost factor which is there, or which we can term as the driver of globalization, is the establishment of World Trade Organization. To strengthen the world economy and more trade investment, employment and income growth throughout the world, WTO was brought into existence. The level of exports rose tremendously and WTO facilitated the implementation, administration and operations to further attain the objectives of GATT. The second driver for globalization was declining trade barriers. Another significant driver towards globalization is the decline in trade barriers. Free flow of goods and reduction in tariffs made this happen. General agreement on trade and tariffs played an important role in the same. The next in the list is declining investment barriers. Treaties were designed to promote and protect investment amongst countries, enabled fast growth of globalization of not only trade but also production. The next factor or the driver in the list is growth in FDI. Now, when we talk about foreign direct investment, growth and spread of FDI enlarged the globalization of production and marketing. There were various strides in the technology also which played a significant role in development of globalization phenomena. Because of the phenomenal advancements in technology, it made the world a small place in terms of availability of global information, in terms of communication and reach to the organizations. Now they have now emerged as virtual organizations which have a wider base, a speedy reach and a free flow of communication. Internationalization has various steps into it. It is basically a step-by-step procedure which has to be followed for wise spread in the market. Now business spreads in its finances, operations, human resource in a gradual way towards different countries. Every business passes through these stages. Now let us have an insight on the each stage it is as under. Because we find a company is a domestic company at stage 1. Now what is a domestic company? We'll study. Stage 1 is the domestic company. The unstated motto of a domestic company says, if it is not happening in home country, it is not happening. Domestic country limits its operations, missions and visions to national political boundaries. Focus of these companies is on domestic market opportunities, domestic suppliers and domestic customers only. Some of these domestic companies which grow beyond their domestic market, they think internationalization of their operations. These companies are categorized under international company on the later stage, that is stage 2. Now what are the international companies? When the companies expand their domestic operation to the different region, different you can say nation, then they are categorized under stage 2 companies. Those companies who decide to exploit the opportunities of outside domestic market are the stage 2 companies. They extend their product and service operations and promotions in the international market. It is at this stage the companies have begun with the internationalization process. Now when we talk about the stage 3, we have multinational companies over here. Sooner or later, the international companies learn that the extension strategy will not work. The best example is that Toyota exported Toyopet cars produced from Japan to USA. Toyopet was not successful in USA. The reason behind, they were overpriced, underpowered and built like tanks which were not suitable for US markets. Taking it as a rich experience, Toyota designed new models suitable to US markets. Thus, international companies turned into multinational companies, or we can also call it as multi-domestic companies. Now, when we refer to the stage 4, it will give us about the global companies. Global company is a company with global marketing strategy, we can say. That is, it is mainly focusing on selling these products globally. For instance, Harley designs and promotes the product across the global market. Now, when we look at stage 5, it is giving us the insight on transnational companies. Now, what is transnational company? Transnational company produces, markets, invests, operates across the world. There is no pure transnational cooperation. However, most of these transnational companies satisfy many of these characteristics of a global corporation. For instance, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are the best suitable examples so far. This was a gist on stages of internationalization. Students, for further reference, refer to the book of International Human Resource Management authored by P. Subba Rao, published by Himalaya Publishing House. You can also refer to second edition on International Human Resource Management by K. Ashwatthappa and Sadhana Dash, published by McGraw-Hill Education. Have a nice day.